The Birds is a play about transformation, about transforming your idea of nature and of the world around you and becoming something better than yourself. We think we need buildings and beds and all of these trappings of life to have life. But that's not true if we look at the world around us and how much our stuff is destroying the world. If we look at even some of the things in the scene shop, plastics and chemicals and art, all the trappings of art, right? All the trappings of art. But how can we make that better? It's always been something I've been around, indigeneity, not that I've been a part of, but seeing those cultures and seeing how the government interacts with them in a colonialist way and what that looks like has always just been kind of around me. And so when it came time and I wanted to set design at JMU for the first time, I remember requesting the birds because I was interested in those, in the message that it had to say. As a set designer, one of the things I was really fascinated by was this concept that it was barren and empty, but still very much alive. The humans who come to the land of the birds often remark on it, well, it's empty, it's barren, it's this wasteland. They talk about it being so empty. And so even something that looks empty can be so very full. Well, everything's here. There's so much life here. And that's something that really inspired me as I went through this process. I remember sitting and talking, and I'd had all these Canadian Indigenous experiences and American Indigenous experiences, and I kept relaying this script back to them, and I worried, and I went, how are we at JMU, without a large Indigenous population, going to be able to tell this story? And I remember Renalta saying something along the lines of, it's not an Indigenous story, it's a story of the land. And that connected with me, and we sat and we chatted, and she was like, well, especially the birds, it's about a scar on the land that's healing. They talk about like this almost apocalyptic event that has happened outside the land of the birds, and how Jack and Gulliver are trying to escape it. And she mentioned, she was like, in what way has this land been scarred? In what way has this land been affected? So I wasn't aware much when I moved here of a lot of Shenandoah Valley lore or culture or history, but I remember sitting one day and chatting with a local about the creation of Shenandoah National Park, and about how I think it's 4,000 families were evicted from their homes and they left the chimneys. And me and my partner had even gone to go see one of the chimneys that they recreated for as a memorial out in Elkton, and that was something that fascinated me. But something so local in Virginia, which had such a strong colonial effect, even had such an impression in recent history. Like this is the early 1900s, I think. In recent memorable history, some people remember this, of such a deep scar on the land and the culture and its people. I was really inspired by that. I went, wow, I can't think of another Virginian Shenandoah Valley experience that so coincides with the indigenous native experience, to where even locals can feel the scars of the land. All of my design is directly inspired by the land in Shenandoah National Park along Skyline Drive. This design is my way of acknowledging what happened here and bearing witness and asking people to remember and saying, hey, we have had this scar on our land. We have had this scar in the heart of our people here. And I guess seeing what that is and seeing how that can transform you and how the land can retransform you.